Hey everybody, my name's Ruri and I'm in the delightfully warm and sunny island capital of Palma de Mallorca in Spain. Join me today on my super cool e-bike, courtesy of Urban Drive Style, as I give you a very light-hearted and loosely fact-checked introduction to one of the Mediterranean's best and worst kept secrets. Confused? Don't worry, I'll explain in a bit.
Palma de Mallorca, or Palma if you want to be lazy and not call it by its actual full name, is the ancient capital of Mallorca, the largest island of the autonomous Spanish Balearic Islands. It was originally settled by the Romans in 123 BC and passed hands over the centuries, most notably to the Moors, who really put their stamp on the place, but eventually being conquered more recently by hordes of guided cruise ship passengers, booze-guzzling Brits, and razor-arsed German cycling teams.
For point of reference, Mallorca is situated over 250 kilometres from both Valencia and Barcelona on the mainland, and is nestled between its brother and sister islands of Ibiza and Menorca in the western edgy bit of the Mediterranean.
About half the population of the island live in Palma, which the Romans conveniently located only 15 minutes drive from the airport. But driving isn't easy here, especially in the peak months. A combination of heavy local traffic and way too many rental cars results in automotive chaos. That's traffic jams getting into popular beaches and nightmarish parking.
When you first arrive in Palma, you'll notice the imposing golden sandstone cathedral known locally as Liceo, or Cathedral of Light. Started in the 1200s, it would take 400 years to finish the job. Typical, eh? Reminds me of when I got my roof done. Oh no, wait a minute, that took 500 years to finish, and they didn't take their tools away for another 6 months.
Liceo's expertly chiselled mirador portal and the contemporary Chapel of the Holy Sacrament, a very recent addition to the structure from 2007, are highlights to look for during a visit, and a walk round the ancient walls plus spontaneous siesta in the glorious sun are mandatory. Also, if the fancy takes you, you've got the option of hopping in a horse-drawn carriage for a tour of the Old Town, which sprawls out for a kilometre or so behind the cathedral.
I'm talking of Palma's Old Town, or El Casco Antiguo. That's where we are right now. Now, honestly, despite living here for quite some time, I still generally don't really have an idea of which way is which, and in fact, how to get out. Because being in this tight and twisting network of narrow shaded alleys and cobbled streets is kind of like being trapped in an episode of The Crystal Maze. Every corner I turn, I keep expecting to be met by a leaping Richard O'Brien with a heavily powdered bald head screaming at me about getting the crystal and never ever getting locked in.
Because it gets extremely hot and sweaty here in the height of summer, these slender lanes with their tall buildings and overhanging traditional wooden roofs either side really bring the temperature way down. So you'll most definitely enjoy scurrying around here to get a break from the heat. But of course, a more convenient way that I've found to help keep my internal thermometer in check is to stop regularly and pour ice-cold beer into that big gaping hole in the middle of my face. Most of the Casco Antiguo, as it's called round here, is majorly posh residential. And if you poke around a bit, you'll find some truly striking Mallorquin townhouses with photograph-worthy internal courtyards. This is a highly desirable area to live, and that means even higher prices. So unless you're the kind of person that doesn't mind paying €500,000 for 60 square metres and a balcony the size of a Kraft cheese slice, you can put your money away.
I generally prefer to wander this area fairly aimlessly, but there are some bits and bobs really worth coming to seek out, including this place, the ancient Arab baths in the gardens of Can Fonteroig, one of the very few clear remnants of the city's 3-century-long Islamic occupation. If you do come along, don't bother to bring your swimsuit though, as there hasn't been anywhere to bathe here for hundreds of years, so you will look a bit mental standing around in your Speedo and Veruca sock, asking people where the changing rooms are.
If you're fortunate enough to emerge from the Old Town maze alive, you'll most likely find yourself in the central Plaza de Court, standing on the cobbles somewhere between the impressive town hall and a row of luxury hotels. Make sure to check out the 600-year-old olive tree, and once you've had enough of trying to find faces in its bark, which is apparently a thing, you can dive into Palma Institution Kanakati for a coca de trampo and a takeaway coffee, which you can scoff down like a big old pig somewhere in the sun.
It's a messy business, but somebody has to do it.
Once you're ready to move again, head north from here along the narrow tree-lined street to reach Plaza Mayor, one of Palma's two principal squares, the other being Plaza España, a further 10-minute walk away.
It is worthwhile passing through Plaza Mayor to the busy shopping street that is Carrer de San Miguel, or to the famous foodie paradise that is the Olivar Market. But if I'm completely honest, at the time of publishing this video, there's really not much going on here except a handful of very touristy terrace cafes and a spectacularly shit subterranean, near completely abandoned shopping mall. And I do use that term loosely. If you've ever wondered what the mall in Silent Hill might look like, look no further. It's like the setting for an episode of Scooby-Doo down here, and it's been like that for years, but there is hope. It's finally well into the process of being completely closed down. Well, it seems like there's only one barber left open in the entire complex. What a truly terrifying place to come to get a haircut. God, I've got the hairs up on the back of my neck. Freaky.
Luckily, your escape from shopping hell to something much more appealing is a mere 10-minute stroll away in the form of Passeig des Born, the grand retail avenue with lofty trees shading the largely pedestrianised area. Designer brands rule the roost here, but the bigger high street labels also appear. And if shopping isn't your thing, this is the place to come for a stroll or to admire the fountain and relaxing gardens that sit just outside the impressive walls of the ancient Almudena Palace. Safely cross the busy multi-lane Paseo Marítimo, Palma's 4-kilometre-long seafront promenade, to get a better view of the palace, and then turn around for a stark reminder of just exactly how much money you don't have as you soak in the glistening marina, home to swanky bars and eateries, as well as hundreds of millions of euros worth of floating real estate.
You'll be pleased to know there's space for 200 yachts here in this modern and expansive port, and I'll be damned if there is a better located marina in the whole of the Mediterranean. However, one thing has irked me about Palma de Mallorca, and I imagine you'll agree with me when I tell you that there is a limit to the length of boats that are allowed to dock here, a paltry 50 metres. Can you imagine how annoying it's been for me to have to park my 100-metre super yacht way out in the bay, and then I have to transfer to my crappy 50-metre kiddies yacht just to come into the marina so I can pick up my organic matcha latte in the morning? It's a complete joke.
Paseo Marítimo may be a watery playground for the world's elite, but it's also a place where the rest of us can enjoy a long, sun-drenched walk or leisurely bike ride with a view. Truly one of my favourite things to do here. You can pedal uninterrupted on the pristine cycle path from the mini marina just before Porto P shopping centre in the east of the city, all the way to the charming harbourside community of Portichol and miles beyond.